feeling really
Guten
Mexican.
Tag.
Guten Tag. There you go. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of September 2021, September 9th for all of you, of Case Files with Kat.
And Ashley.
How has your week been? Any updates? Did you have surgery?
It's tomorrow. Wednesday, for those who are listening on a different day. Yes, it is Wednesday, and we'll see how it goes. It's Wednesday morning at 10:30. So it'll be the last, hopefully last dental procedure.
So if you're the praying kind, send some prayers Ashley's way. Burn some sage, you know.
Yes.
You need some energy crystals, some healing crystals or something. What do you need?
You can see my little pumpkin in the background. So that's what I was fidgeting with. Anyways, yes. Yes. So I'm hoping that's the last one because I am tired of not being able to chew. Like, I can't chew on the left half of my mouth for the past month or whatever. And so I won't be able to after they do surgery for a while. But, at least it will be going in the right direction.
That would
Fun
be
times in my life. What about yours?
That would be like the hardest thing for me because I have to split my food up in half. Even if it's like a French fry, it's still
I didn't think about it much until I was told I couldn't chew on that side of my mouth. So now that's all I think about is chewing on that side of my mouth.
You just want to do it even more.
Yes, it's very intrusive thoughts. Like, just do it. It'll be fine. Just do it. And then it's. So how about your life? How has your life been going? That's how mine's been going.
She's got like little devil and a little angel. Don't do it. Do it. Don't do it. Do it.
Oh.
Well, my week has been crappy. I think that's a great way of. I have the kids in quarantine because of close contact of one of them had tested positive, and he didn't wear a mask, and he sits right next to Olivia all day long, and goes to GT and the whole thing. So because she had allergies, they're like, she tested negative, but because she's got allergies, they're like, well, she has a stuffy nose, and it's been presenting kind of as allergies for some kids. And so they just said, just stay home.
Yeah.
Great. So she's home until next Monday. And she doesn't want to do anything. So I know.
I mean, I can't blame her. I don't want to do anything either. And I'm an adult. I don't want to do shit.
But all the parents out there, it's like a rerun of the last time when school ended. Like, we still have to work. We're home. Or he is. Jason's home. We still have to work. Yeah. I'm bored. Do something. Let's do a science project. Like, no. Go read a book. Got lots of books. Go read a book. Go color. Go do something. Anyway, so that's my week. So what you drinking?
I am drinking water. I know I'm just a failure.
No, that's okay. I forgot because you have your thing.
Yes, but I did because one of my favorite beers is Snap Crackle from Brash. And they were out of it for a very long time. They posted about it a week ago having it. So I went up there and they were already sold out. So I saw a post on Friday night or Saturday morning that they had it. So I drove up there and got me a case of it. So it's waiting in my fridge for when I can drink again.
Aww.
So it's one of my favorite beers.
So Snap Crackle Pop? Is that the
It's just called Snap Crackle. It's a much lighter beer for Brash, if anyone's familiar with them. And apparently she said it's hard to make because it's got to get cold. Like, the temperatures have to be right. And it's very hard to get the temperatures right when it's like 200 degrees outside. And their brewery's in a warehouse without AC. So, so it's hard for them to get Snap Crackle just right. But anyways, it is, I have a whole case waiting for me.
It's delicious. Well, I am once again drinking vodka. I like beer a whole lot more. I'm just saying that. I know people who don't like beer that much, but I like beer a whole lot more. but I have to shed this beer weight. And since COVID, I've gained so much. And so in just the non-drinking beer week, 2 weeks now, 8 pounds.
Wow.
8 pounds just from not drinking the beer. And I'm like, it was water weight. It had it I don't know. There's just a lot of carbs in beer. And it's so much easier to drink beer. You get home.
Oh, for sure.
You open the refrigerator. You grab a beer. It's like, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't have to get ice and then pour the thing and then do the thing and do the,
Yeah.
It's a little bit more work, which makes me end up having just one cocktail versus, maybe 2, maybe 3 beers. Depends on the stress
maybe
level.
15. Who knows?
Am I out
if it's a Monday?
Am I out with Ashley at lunch? We're having more. Just kidding.
Uh-huh.
We don't drink on the job. Anyway, so that's it. So are you ready for the question of the week? Because you didn't answer.
Okay, let me see. Hopefully this doesn't stop my recording.
Well, it's the are you just looking at your text?
The last text. I gotta look at the last text I sent.
To match that bloody bathroom.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
It did not stop my recording. Yay! The answer is it makes no sense in relations to the picture. It says pages are public, groups are private. That's the difference. I was responding to a client who was asking about Facebook pages and Facebook groups, and my response was pages are public, groups are private. That's the difference.
So mine was, I'm not even kidding you, mine was, this is how I felt when I went back to work.
We had some really good answers. I've been looking through, we had like almost 130 answers between our page and your page. I don't even know about the other platforms. I didn't even look to see, I didn't look to see if there was answers on Twitter, but
there's too many answers is what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's good. It's great to see. And I believe didn't Glenn send us this one at one point? Okay, well, anyways, if you did, Glenn, thank you. It has the most responses of ever. So we got some good ones. So we'll read those at the end of the episode.
Not all of them, so don't worry. She just had 130.
I'm not going to sit here and read 130 episodes, but we have some other announcements at the end that I need to give.
Oh,
so anyways.
We have announcements from the principal. So I am really looking forward to hearing them because since they were on my page, I couldn't help but see them. And they were just I was LOLing. And, that's really, some of them were just hysterical.
If you haven't seen it, it's a picture on our Facebook page and it's a bathtub. It's basically like a murder scene in the bathroom. And you're supposed to caption it with your last text message. Yeah,
so you can still answer. Still go on and answer. But I really needed that laugh. I got it. Thank you. Who doesn't need a laugh right now? It was...
exactly.
It was very much appreciated. Really, seriously. I needed it, and thank you. Okay, so now for some interesting facts. I'm not going to say that they're interesting. Actually, they're horrid. But I'm not going to be quizzing you, so don't worry.
That's good.
I don't know that you'd be able to. They're just...
I probably wouldn't.
Okay, but I'm going to give some facts about violence against transgender people and specifically trans sex workers. So it's very specific, but also sex workers in general. So according to a Forbes article, the link to all of this information is going to be in the notes section in the episode. I sent it to you, didn't I?
It's already up. It's already up there.
All right. Did I do that? I don't even remember. Okay. So, according to a Forbes article, 350 transgender people were killed in 2020. And if all of you can remember, I think it was last year when I did the story about something similar, about Brandon Tina, the figure has risen. So that was 331 and it's now 350. The annual global list is released for Transgender Day of Remembrance. That's on November 20th of each year. And the list shows that this year, the average age of those killed was 31, with the youngest just 15. Just breaks your heart. But because many hate crimes and murders go unreported or crucially misreported in the media, the true number of deaths could be far higher. And what I mean by misreporting is that sometimes they use the person's dead name, the incorrect gender name.
Oh, okay.
So I found that was true in the story that I'm going to tell tonight. That there were it took several years for the correction to be made, but eventually it was made because legally it might not have been the case, 10 years ago, might not have been legally changed or something, but it is fixed. In the U.S., the Human Rights Campaign has seen the most violent year against trans people that has ever been recorded. And since the Trans Murder Monitoring Project, which began in 2008, 62% of the deaths have been in the sex workers community. In Europe, and I'm adding in Europe here because we do have listeners in Europe, and I didn't want to just talk about the U.S., although we do a lot, sorry. But in Europe, of the 11 recorded murders this year, half of them were migrants, while in the U.S., 79% of those recorded as murdered by the Trans Murder Monitoring Project were trans people of color. The overwhelming trend shows trans women are the most vulnerable. 98% of those murdered this year were trans women or trans feminine people. So now just this data on sex workers. Sex workers are particularly vulnerable to sexual violence at work. Sex workers of color, migrant sex workers, transgender sex workers experience an even greater risk of sexual violence and assault. According to a systematic review of research, globally, sex workers have a 45 to 75% chance of experiencing sexual violence on the job. Sexual assault against individuals engaged in sex work, especially criminalized forms of sex work in the U.S., is also high. 1 in 5 police reports of sexual assault from an urban U.S. emergency room were filed by sex workers. 1 in 5. In Phoenix, 37% of prostitution diversion program participants report being raped by a client, and 7.1% report being raped by a pimp. In Miami, Florida, 34% of street-based sex workers reported violent encounters with clients in the past 90 days. In New York, 46% of indoor sex workers reported being forced to do something by a client that they did not want to do. And over 80% of street-based sex workers experienced violence. So there's a difference between indoor and street-based. So this is all like, I kind of was like, wow, I didn't realize how they segregated, because there's different types of indoor that could be an escort. It could also be considered a massage parlor. So there's different types. According to a report submitted to the United Nations by 3 sex worker advocacy organizations in 2004, police violence against sex workers has a pattern that includes assault, sexual harassment, public gender searches. So the police strip search for the purpose of viewing the genitalia, and rape. Because of the stigmatization notion that sex workers cannot be sexually assaulted, unquote, sex workers are usually left out of the national conversation around the Me Too movement. Also, sex workers frequently aren't protected by rape shield laws. New York and Ohio explicitly exclude prostitution to be used as character evidence against rape victims. Those are the two. Judges in states without explicit exclusion of sex work. Sorry, that's a lot of X's, which is really hard. They're really hard for me to say. often allow for prostitution to be brought up. So they can say that they were raped, but, oh, you're a prostitute, doesn't count.
Yeah.
Or you're a sex worker, doesn't count. I'm not supposed to say prostitute. I was told by Ann Johnson. And sex workers are often ineligible for rape victim compensation funds or received reduced amounts. And that's actually something that even in Texas, we have victim compensation because it's expensive to go to trial and to restart your life. And especially if you've left an abuser or if you've been raped, there's just a lot that goes in. Counseling is expensive. And so they want people to be able to access those services. And so there are funds, victims. It's VOCA funds. Anyway, that being said, tonight I'm going to prove that I do not keep up with what's going on in our own backyard because I learned about this Houston story from someone who works in the DA's office. And she, hold on, I lost my timer, so I need to make sure I'm not going over. She works in the DA's office in Harris County because her boyfriend worked on the case, and I had never heard of him. And so I thought, wow, that he has a really cool name. So let me do a story on him. So,
I've never heard of it either, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so recent. That's what's so crazy. Even Jason was like, what? How do we? Because his name is very unusual. Okay. So how is it possible that we haven't heard of it? I have no idea. And while I was doing some research, a judge I know was the one that actually gave the sentence that right. So I text messaged him and I'm like, OMG. I am about to do this story. And he said this case was pending for over 9 years before he was even elected as judge. And the case was concluded the week before the country shut down for COVID-19. So when I say this just happened, this just happened. So this is nuts, but it was a huge case. Okay.
Yeah.
So enough of my digressions. Tonight, I'm going to be telling you about a serial killer named Lucky Ward.
Oh.
Pause for oohs and ahs.
Ooh.
I also needed a drink. Lucky Ward, also known as LaWayne Jackson, though we're not sure if that was his given name. That was just another, that could have been an alias he used. But he is, like on the case transcripts, it says Lucky Ward. It does not say LaWayne Jackson. And I think they have to use your legal name. So
yeah,
that's my guess. But he was born on November 1st, 1964. So what is known about him comes from his defense attorney. And so this is an excerpt from the Houston Chronicle. Ward's defense told jurors about the defendant's upbringing when he experienced sexual abuse from an uncle and physical assaults from a father who used extreme tactics to beat his child. The complex trauma he endured caused long-term harm to his mental state, eventually resulting in a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder, according to a testimony. He entered the adult prison system at the age of 16. But that might not even be right. I think it was 14, because we also know, thanks to records, that Ward had a really lengthy criminal history, and prosecutors told the jurors how Ward had committed a series of crimes that date back to at least 1979. And in one crime, prosecutors said when he was 14, he raped an 83-year-old woman in Brazoria County. At 14.
Wow.
So, ugh. In 1984, so I guess that would have put him a little bit after 16. In 1984, when he was convicted of stealing money. Some of the other charges that have been brought against him include aggravated assault in 1985 and again in 2006. Criminal mischief? Not really sure. I mean, that's just vague. That's just vague. Drug possession, and most recently, a prostitution conviction in 2007, for which he spent 2 weeks in jail. Before this series of murders, he had already been sentenced to more than 2 decades in prison. So he was 40.
He served those times, or that was what he was supposed to serve?
He had accumulated on and off for all these years, because he was 46. I say it later, but he was in his 40s when the murders and that jailing happened. But he had been in and out of jail so much, and he had spent almost half of his life behind bars at that point.
Gotcha.
Just with petty things, prostitution, drug possession, and all that. So that's about like the end of what is publicly known about Lucky. And at the time of his crimes and arrest, he was houseless. He was living on the streets, which is where all of his future victims were discovered. So on November 5th, Houston police arrived to find a homeless woman lying dead on a stairwell near the old YMCA building downtown. I don't know if you know where that is. Can't really. I can kind of give you cross streets, but it's not going to mean anything to you if you don't really know downtown. Investigators noted that she had been strangled and was missing clothes, similar to a number of other murder cases that year. They had encountered strangling after strangling in 2010. Another homeless woman slumped over the steps near Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart, a black bra hanging around her neck, a transgender woman in her North Houston apartment, a young mother in a grassy field, nude from the waist down, and a partially clothed transgender woman in a Montrose parking lot. It was the DNA evidence that finally linked Lucky Ward, who was 46 at the time, to the murders. A homeless man who was arrested just a few blocks from the murder scene, Ward reportedly confessed to strangling that one victim, the first victim I mentioned, over what was described as a petty argument. Yes, he didn't. It was a little. He didn't really say that he didn't have a relationship with her. They got in an argument, and that was it. Yeah. Police say during the crime, Ward stole the victim's Metro bus card, ID, and other items. And for someone who doesn't have a lot, that Metro card, all of those things, that's it. That's what you got. And actually, she was married to another homeless person, and that was.
You're talking about the victim.
That first one, so that was the one that they were able to get DNA evidence. They were able to link him to a couple of others. So we'll get that. So on February 28th, 2011, Houston police homicide investigators announced that Ward was being charged in a second murder. So that first one was her name was Long, last name was Long, and then they said they connected him to a second murder, and evidence was now starting to link him to a total of 5 killings.
Wow.
So it wasn't just like a petty argument. This started to become like a pattern.
Yeah.
Sorry, drinking. So Lucky was charged with capital murder in the killing of Gypsy Rodriguez, 40, of Houston. Ward was originally arrested in that November, charged with the capital murder of Rita Long, 52, of Houston. And through DNA, investigators were able to link him to Myra E. Cal, Raquel Mundy, and Carol E. Flood. All 5 victims had been strangled. So here is the chronological series of his crimes. So still yet unproven, But he is still the main suspect in the death of Burdell Lewis in 1985. She died by strangulation and marked the first of Ward's signature murders. I put that in quotes because that's what they said, that was like his signature. So prosecutor said where he would strangle his victims, often with items of their own clothing, and then leaving them partially nude. That was his MO. And like on the steps of whatever, wherever he was, that's where they lay. Myra Ekal was 51, a transgendered individual, was found partially clothed in a field. They give the street address, 4300 Garrett, about 2 p.m. on January 10th, 2010. Another woman, a single mother from Galveston, who was not homeless, also was found dead on June 18th, 2010, near downtown in a field at the dead end of St. Charles. Raquel Antoinette Mundy, 24, a mother of 2 small children, had last been seen at the downtown Greyhound bus station earlier the day before. She became stranded there when her car was towed while she dropped off her mother and children to take a bus trip. Her partially decomposed body, also nude from the waist down, was found dumped in a grassy area next to some railroad tracks. Forensic pathologist could not tell police if she had been sexually assaulted due to the decomposition of her body. Ugh. It just breaks my heart because she was a mom. She also had been strangled. She was last seen getting into a vehicle with the male outside of the downtown Greyhound bus station. Gypsy Rodriguez, a transgendered individual, was found inside her residence at 207 Frawley at about 8 a.m. on September 13th, 2010. So this is all kind of happening all within the same year. Rita Long was found near a stairwell of a building at 1700 San Jacinto at 6:20 a.m. on September 30th, 2010. DNA evidence developed Ward as the suspect in this case. So this is the one that he confessed to. And then Carol Flood, 62, was also found lying near a stairwell of a building at 1600 Louisiana at 5:10 p.m. on October 10th, 2010. So in November, on November 4th or 5th, he was arrested. So that put an end to the streak because it could have kept going. Yeah. If you can, so October, September, I mean, it's terrible. Yeah. He was picking up pace. So Ward, who is now 57, was the inmate with the longest wait for a trial in the Harris County jail history. Like I said earlier, it took nearly a decade to get to where we are now. Nearly a decade. And 10 years is a really long time.
I'm surprised they were able to keep him jailed for 10 years without a trial.
You know what? I am too. And I don't know how. That was one of the things that I was talking about with Jason. Like, how is that even like legal? Like, isn't there some kind of a speedy trial? So there's something, some constitutional right?
Yeah, that's very strange they were able to keep him in jail for that long.
I know. So Kenneth Williams, who's a professor who teaches courses on criminal procedure and capital punishment at the South Texas College of Law, he was talking about how this is really an exorbitant amount of time. Defendants need to go to trial fast because evidence can dry up. Witnesses can forget what they saw, but it's most important for us to usher cases through the courts because the defendant is always presumed innocent until proven guilty. And if Ward is found innocent, then he has suffered extreme prejudice by being locked up for so long. And so this professor says you could have an innocent person that's been sitting in jail for 10 years. And if he's as dangerous as they claim, it seems like you would want to try that person as expeditiously as you can. So what took so long? So they have no answers to this. There's really no good answers, right? There was Hurricane Harvey. That was only 4 years ago. So that was a bit that shut down a lot of court cases for a while. But because this was crimes being committed by people who don't have homes on people who don't have homes, some did, but witnesses were really hard to come by. And all they could do was keep searching for the people who might have seen anything. And it just took a long time. There was also a lot of DNA testing, but that doesn't take 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. But they did it, and they used their time to get all of this DNA testing done. And so, but really, if you put all of those things together, it doesn't add up to a decade. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And
very strange.
So it is. And that's why when my friend was like, yeah, I mean, it had been going on for 9 years before he even took his judicial seat. And so he was like, oh, here's your ruling. And like, that's about all he had to do with it. He didn't like hear the whole thing. But yeah. But his crime spree, bum, 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 did not end when he went to jail.
What? I'm sorry. What?
Yes. This guy, like, he was a huge troublemaker. Like,
if he was causing trouble, then I can see how he was kept in jail.
But he wasn't in prison. He was in jail. He was in, like, the county jail. Like, he wasn't, like, you know. So he had, his time in jail was marked by repeated jail violations for alleged threats, suicide attempts, and misuse of medication. So who knows what that means? Could have been selling it, could have been whatever. So all of this is in the court records. And then in October of 2018, he was charged with allegedly being caught with a shank in the Harris County jail. But at least one jail guard was suspended for 3 days in 2014 for not handcuffing Lucky when he was let out of his cell to go to the recreation room. So at this point, Lucky's like, I'm not handcuffed. He ran away from the guard, stabbed another inmate.
Oh my God.
Suspected of capital murder, according to his disciplinary record. So he just like, wow, and he like went and started stabbing him with the shank that he got in trouble for. So I don't know where this other stabbing utensil came from. So
what an interesting man.
He is also really good at escaping his jail cell. So good, in fact. He can do them he can escape using everyday objects. Any kind of object, he's going to escape. So this is another excerpt from the Houston Chronicle. Again, the link is in the show notes. It says, quote, "He's considered one of our most dangerous, high-maintenance inmates," said Jason Spencer, spokesman for the sheriff's office. "He's someone who requires constant attention, someone who's frequently trying to agitate other inmates and staff. We're looking forward to the day when he's at another facility." Court records show that Ward, also known as LaWayne Jackson, was apparently happy to show jail guards how to get out of his jail cell. He demonstrated for officers how he could escape from his cell in multiple ways during a video recording.
Wow. That's how you know you're bored, right? When you just like decide you're just going to start showing how you are getting out of your cell. Like, I feel like that was like pre-TikTok.
It was. So the approximately I'm continuing the article. The approximately 8-minute long video shows a demonstration by Lucky to officers the multiple ways that he could escape his Harris County jail cell if he so chose.
If he so chose. I love it.
He's like, see what I can do? I'm not gonna, but you see how you can do it? So apparently it was a very informational moment because all these people who work there were like, interesting. So I think it changed a lot of stuff.
Yes. How many inmates were missing at this point in time? Like, Jesus.
Well, he wasn't like sharing it with other people, you know.
But I'm sure other people could also figure out how to get out. If it was an 8-minute video, there had to be a lot of ways he could get out of his cell.
Oh my God.
I would imagine.
That's a really good point.
I'm sure the 8 minutes worth of how to get out of this cell, I feel like other people could have figured it out too.
So I can't even think of one. Because, I mean, you have a key, right? So do they get aluminum foil? And did they get like aluminum foil and fashion it into a key and do that? Like, I mean, what? A toothbrush?
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to. I'm going to try to look up the video.
It's not, they didn't put it out there because they can't.
You don't know. I'm still going to look at how to escape a jail cell. I'm sure there's someone out there who's been dumb enough to post it. I see people from jail that have snuck in phones and have TikTok accounts. So I'm sure I can find how to get out of a jail cell.
In Harris County. So Harris County jail cell escape. Look that up. Look that up.
I'm so sorry. Continue your story.
Okay, so during the sentencing trial, he was such a troublemaker that during this is crazy because you don't hear about this very often, but he was such a troublemaker that during the sentencing trial, 8 deputies, eight stood guard around the courtroom.
Oh my God.
Because they were worried. They were worried for everybody. So when State District Judge Chuck Silverman, who's my bud, read the punishment jurors decided for a man they had convicted of capital murder nearly a decade after he was arrested, preparing for a possible outburst from the defendant, who had been described as one of Harris County's most dangerous inmates. Jurors, how did we not know about this man?
I don't know. I've never heard about him. This is crazy.
So jurors deliberated for, guess how long? It's not short, but it's not long either.
4 hours?
5 hours. 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Good guess. Before choosing death for Ward instead of life in prison without parole. So that was just, I guess, the second person under Kim Ogg to get the death sentence at the time. As with all death sentences in Texas, Ward's case will be automatically appealed. Defense attorneys had hoped jurors would find the circumstances that were mitigating enough to reject the death penalty, including his mental health history and, as I said at the beginning of the episode, his pattern of abuse that he suffered as a child. We say it all the time. Some of these people never stood a chance, but there's still choices that are made.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this like kind of a, oh man, like that. I get it. He was really badly treated, but there's so many people who were also really badly treated who don't go off and start a murder spree. I don't know. Like, it's really hard. Yeah. Like, I feel for people who have had that life. I really, really do. And it's really sad. He didn't get the help that he needed. And he certainly didn't live in a safe place as a child, which makes me really sad for him. So Lucky Ward, at the time, so he was 55 at the time. He'll be 57. Didn't visibly react when Judge Silverman relayed the verdict. So all of those guards were there for nothing. But before being escorted out of the courtroom for the last time, Ward turned his attention to one of the victim's family members, and he said, "I'm so sorry." And that was it. His lawyer, Jimmy Ortiz, said, "Before you judge a man, walk a mile in his shoes." In this case, Mr. Ward was dealt a very bad deck of cards. But again, I get it. It breaks my heart, but those people had family who loved them, and he made a really bad series of choices, and it got him to where he is. And that is my short story on Lucky Ward.
That's crazy. I can't believe it. I've never heard of him, being that he's a Houston
serial killer
and all. Especially the fact that his victims were transgender. You would think it would be like in the news more. I don't know. I haven't heard of it, which is crazy. So,
but I think they're underreported because A, they were homeless, B, being transgender. It's a very specific place that you have to go to find crimes against transgendered people. It's not like something that is
a shame.
I know, it is a shame. I think that there's stigma. People don't understand what that is. And so because it's just different. It's becoming a little bit less stigmatized, but all right.
So should I make some of the announcements first, or do you want me to read the question of the week answers first?
We'll do the announcement quick, and then we'll do some of our funny answers. Okay. Yay!
So first of all, congratulations to our friend Twyla on her engagement over the weekend. I'm very excited for her. She's a fan of the show, so just wanted to say that. And then we have our new site. You can it's the same address, catandashley.com, but it's redone. So all of our episodes are there. It's automatically there. You can leave reviews on there. If you want to subscribe so you get updates, that's on there. Every streaming platform, if you want to refer us to someone, whatever. Our website is up and running. It is updated, all of that good stuff. And then, so those are really my announcements. You can go to our site now, and it's all snazzy. And then,
snazzy.
Anyways.
Yeah, baby.
Answers to the question of the week. So, again, caption this photo with the last text you sent, which is a murder scene in the bathroom. Laura's response was, thanks. RC said, hope y'all have a good day. Love y'all. Except with a bunch of emojis. Sarah Ferguson was just 3 crying emojis. Sarah. Jackie was, how are you feeling? Lori's was, yes. Hillary's was, you're all set and taken care of. Noelle was, this is taking too long. I have laundry to do. I love it. She's coming next month. Elizabeth said no. Catherine's was, now it's your turn. Nicole said medicine time. And then let's see. Michelle was, unfortunately I did. It is horrible. Aaron says, darn it. Shelby said, I don't know why he has to make things weird. Emily's was, I feel better. Michelle's was cool. Allison was perfect. He's returning from, he always pops out of the coat. Amari, when I walk in, he's returning from Narnia. I have no idea what you were texting originally to somebody, but
Armoire.
Yeah, Armoire. When I walk in, he's returning from Narnia. Anyways, I have no idea what you were originally texting.
To get to Narnia, you go through the armoire.
Yeah. No, I know that.
I feel like that's a cat.
But I want to say what I just want to see the rest of that text convo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how Narnia works. I'm just saying I want to see the rest of that.
Include us.
Yes. Courtney says, sounds yummy, and it's still sunny here. I have my reasons. Sorry about that. We can think about it tomorrow. What is your oxygen level today?
0, because I'm dead.
Someone said, amazing, so cute. I really need to go get my nails done. You'll be fine. Sorry, I'm not reading everyone's names. There's a lot, so I'm just scrolling through. Stop contacting me. That's a lot, but it could be worse. We need a larger trash bin. Very accurate for this.
I think that one might be my favorite. That's really funny. That was Jonathan, right?
For the trash bin, it was David. Yeah. David West, we need a larger trash bin.
Oh, that's funny.
He is no longer with the company. That's my favorite. I love that.
That's an understatement. I love that. Woo, it's making me laugh. I'm sweating now.
Building is secure. This would be the one that got away.
Oh.
This would probably, or that would probably work. It's done. Posted it on your Facebook.
Oh my God. These are so good.
Clean up and make it work.
That's good.
Memories. These are so funny. Oh,
you guys are funny.
Shit, that's awkward. I need a cigar. I'm sorry. Is she gone already? I tried to prepare him. I'm good with 3 choices. I am cleared to start walking.
That's
going to the doctor now.
After all that blood, I'm going to the doctor now.
Yeah. That's an overview of the many, many great answers that we had. We had some really good answers. We really enjoy when you answer a question of the week. So even if it's an old one, please go back and answer. They're hilarious. We love to read them. They make us happy. We'll always give a shout out. If you have question of the week suggestions, message them to us on Facebook. If you have story suggestions, send those to us. If you have other suggestions for us, complaints, comments, concerns, feel free to message us. Like I said, our site's up, so check out the new site. You can leave us voicemails on there. It's super fancy. Next week, my story is on a woman serial killer who's insane. I have her interview and everything, and I'm pretty excited to play that for you guys. It's pretty cool. And so I'm excited about that. And that's really what I have, unless you have other announcements. Like us on all the things. If you listen to us on a platform, please leave us a review because we really, really need them. It helps other people find us. And the only reviews we have outside of like one person are negative reviews from the first season. So please help us out. Please review us if you love us. If you don't love us, don't leave us a review. But we still love you. Thanks.
Oh God, you're so funny.
If you want to come on the show as a guest, if you have a cool story, let us know. You can be a co-host for the day.
Yeah, and I'm working on an interview of a survivor of a brutal attack that Ashley covered in our first season. So, yep, and we're working on that. So look forward to that. But until next week, I'm so excited to hear Ashley's story now that it's about someone crazy.
Cray, like real crazy too.
Like real cray. Oh, I'm excited. All right. Well, all right, everybody. Until next week, have a fabulous weekend, and just stay safe and be kind to one another, please. All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.